Good morning, I'm Joe Fryer. Savannah is on assignment today. Right now on Morning News Now, looking ahead. The November midterms are now shaping up after critical races in a few key states. We'll take a look at the Democrats' pick to take on Florida Governor Ron DeSantis. Well, in New York, we'll have the outcome of an important race in New York City that pit two longtime Democratic lawmakers against each other. And a race upstate that could show a potential path to victory for Democrats in the midterms. We're breaking down all the latest results and the races to watch this November. Stunning revelations about the documents seized from former President Trump's Mar-A-Lago home. A letter from the National Archives revealing Trump had more than 700 pages of classified documents, some of them labeled top secret. The concerns investigators had about how those documents were stored and what Trump is saying about the search this morning. We're going to have the latest on that investigation. Cutting back. More companies are slashing paid paternal leave benefits, and that's causing new parents to get less time with their newborns. The reason some of the country's biggest companies are now making this move and what it means for families. Plus, flipping the script. You may recognize them from roles in Never Have I Ever on Netflix and Disney's Zombies 3. Actor Terry Hu is making history as the first non-binary queer lead in a Disney project. I spoke with them about their journey and what it means to make sure there's representation on screen. We look forward to bringing you that conversation later in the hour. We're going to begin with those key election results from two of the country's biggest states. In New York, a Democrat won a special election in a swing House district running on an abortion rights message. Well, in Florida, Democratic voters chose a former Republican governor to take on the current Republican governor, incumbent Ron DeSantis. NBC News Chief White House correspondent Kristen Welker has more.
Good day to you. Last night's primaries had a number of headlines, from a member-on-member battle in New York to the youngest person potentially poised to go to Congress. But the biggest takeaway came in that special election in New York, where the Democrat pulled out a victory over his Republican challenger by running on a platform of abortion rights. The implications for the fall: Democrats could put on a fiercer fight than expected to hold on to power, with abortion at the center of it all. In the last major round of primaries before the midterm elections, critical races in Florida and New York offering clues ahead of November. And the night brought a big surprise in New York with even bigger implications.
I honestly can't believe it. I cannot believe it.
Democrat Pat Ryan winning in a special election in a bellwether swing district that has predicted every presidential election since 1996. Both parties glued to that race. Ryan campaigned on abortion rights, which Democrats hope can fire up key voters this year in the wake of the Supreme Court's Roe v. Wade decision. And Republican Mark Molinaro had focused on key Republican issues, inflation and crime. Whereas in Florida, it was all about who can slow down Governor Ron DeSantis' possible presidential ambitions.
What a night.
Former Republican governor turned Democratic Congressman Charlie Crist will now get another shot at the governor's mansion.
This guy wants to be president of the United States of America, and everybody knows it.
But Crist faces an uphill battle against DeSantis, with Florida voters shifting to the right since he was governor. Congresswoman Val Demings won Florida's Democratic Senate primary. She's hoping to unseat Republican incumbent Marco Rubio in a race recent polls show is increasingly competitive.
Tonight is a good night. Am I right about that?
Back in New York, a bitter battle between two veteran Democrats is over, with Congressman Jerry Nadler defeating Congresswoman Carolyn Maloney after a redrawn district map forced the two committee chairs to fight for a single House seat.
Those New Yorkers get to choose who best represents the people and values of this city. And you know what? I think the voters made themselves clear tonight.
Another big top line we're watching from the night: voters could be poised to send a Gen Z candidate to Congress for the first time. 25-year-old Maxwell Frost, who's Afro-Cuban, won his primary in Florida, and if he wins in the fall, which is expected, he will be the youngest person in Congress, making him more than 60 years younger than the oldest person in Congress. Back to you.
Quite a difference there. All right, Kristen, thank you so much. Now to the latest on the clash between former President Trump and the Justice Department. The National Archives released a letter that was sent to Trump's lawyers earlier this year, saying the former president left with more than 700 pages of classified material, including some marked top secret. NBC News senior Washington correspondent Hallie Jackson has more.
Hey there, good morning to you. And this morning we're learning that more than 700 pages of classified documents were taken to the former president's home in Florida after he left office. This is according to a letter that's now been released by the National Archives, sent to Mr. Trump's attorneys back in May. That's after the archives says it retrieved 15 sets of classified material back in January, including some stuff marked as special access programs. That means we're talking about some of the most closely guarded secrets of the U.S. government. Only a tiny number of people actually would have access to this. Now, this is on top of what we already knew about from the search earlier this month, those 11 boxes of classified material the FBI found at Mar-A-Lago a few weeks ago. This letter also says the Justice Department made clear to Mr. Trump's team this spring the national security interests, they call it, that the FBI had in getting all of this material back. So it raises some new questions now about who had access to this at Mar-A-Lago and the potential risk to national security. What is that risk? Well, a damage assessment would reveal the depths of it, but 4 current U.S. officials tell NBC News it doesn't look like the country's top intel officials have actually formally started that process. The government has known since January that highly sensitive material had been improperly stored at Mar-a-Lago. Multiple current and former officials say this apparent lack of a damage assessment seems puzzling, but it suggests the Biden administration is being super careful not to seem to be involved beyond what the FBI and Justice Department investigation is doing. That said, officials say there's probably been an informal survey of the material because intelligence agencies would want to know right away if, for example, a human source was compromised. Lawmakers have asked for a formal damage assessment. The timing on that still TBD. Back to you.
All right, Hallie, thank you. Let's now head to Columbus, Ohio, where it's the first day of school for students, but their teachers are still on the picket lines. And that ongoing strike turned violent yesterday after union reps say someone fired a pellet gun at demonstrators. NBC News correspondent Maggie Vespa joined us now from Columbus, Ohio with more. Hey, Maggie, good morning.
Hey, Joe, good morning. Yeah, we'll start with the details behind that shooting, which obviously is a hugely scary moment for teachers. It happened here at Indian Springs Elementary School. The union reps saying that at least 2 of their teachers were hit with what they described as BB gun-like pellets, but thankfully no one was seriously injured. And they also said their members will not be intimidated. You can see and probably hear the picketers coming this way. The teachers back out on the picket line, a huge showing here on the first day of school, knowing educators across the country are watching what's happening in Columbus closely. On the first day of classes in Columbus, Ohio, teachers are skipping school and holding the line. Our school! Our school! Roughly 4,500 teachers in Ohio's largest district now on day 3 of their strike, their first in nearly 50 years. On Tuesday, the strike even taking a violent turn after several people were struck by pellets while picketing outside an elementary school. The union says no serious injuries were reported. Students across Columbus today will attend class remotely, taught by substitutes and administrators. Teachers holding strong to their demands, namely smaller class sizes and building improvements.
This conflict is not about salary. Our focus is accountability and fixing these schools.
We have to be mindful of that as we work to try to increase salaries, to do it in a fiscally responsible way.
The clash not unique to Columbus. Experts argue frustration among America's teachers has been mounting for years.
That shift happened during the 2017-2018 school year. That's where we saw a big increase in the number of strikes.
Dr. Melissa Arnold-Lyon studies public policy and points to successful past strikes. The chaos inflicted by the COVID pandemic only adding to the momentum. She says teachers are fed up.
Strikes are, by definition, desperate moves.
This morning, experts say tensions are mounting in districts across the country. Meanwhile, all eyes are on Ohio.
You are absolutely watching what's happening in Columbus.
I am, and I hope educators across the state of North Carolina are as well.
In Asheville, North Carolina, County Commissioner and mom Amanda Edwards wrote on Facebook, with over 6,000 vacancies, there is no way anyone can justify firing teachers for walking out.
Our teachers and educators are 100% in the driver's seat right now. They're leaving us, and rightfully so, unfortunately.
All right, so back here in Columbus, there is some hope on the horizon. Again, teachers back out on the picket line, but the union and the district saying that they are planning to come back to the bargaining table and resume negotiations today. The bad news is that definitely won't produce any kind of results in time for the start of classes. Again, this is the first day of school, and across the city of Columbus, kids will begin the new year remotely. Joe, back to you.
All right, Maggie, thank you so much. New developments this morning surrounding a deadly police shooting captured on camera in Atlanta 2 years ago. A special prosecutor investigating the killing of Rayshard Brooks announced charges against the 2 officers involved have been dropped. NBC News national correspondent Miguel Almaguer has that story.
The 2 officers who wrestled with Rayshard Brooks, including the one who fired the fatal shots as he ran away, will not face criminal charges after the 2020 death that sparked nationwide protests.
Officers had no way of knowing or anticipating that within seconds of this encounter, both would be attacked by Brooks.
Atlanta's special prosecutor announcing officers Garrett Rolfe, who fired his gun, and Devin Brosnan committed no crimes, and that the use of deadly force was reasonable after Brooks stripped one of the officers of his taser, then fired that weapon at police as he ran.
Both acted as reasonable officers would under the facts and circumstances of the events of that night and were justified in the use of force regarding the situation.
What's up, man? Hey, you're parked in the drive-thru right now.
After discovering Brooks asleep behind the wheel in a Wendy's parking lot, authorities say the 27-year-old, who was drunk and high, suddenly began fighting with officers and posed a threat as he ran. Following days of demonstration and after the Wendy's was destroyed, the former DA announced several charges against the officers, including a count of murder against Brosnan, before the special prosecutor took over.
You can't catch a drunk guy on drugs running down Metropolitan Avenue. You have to shoot him in the back. A jury should decide this case. That's the bottom line.
Both officers remain on administrative duty, cleared of wrongdoing in the eyes of the law. Miguel Almaguer, NBC News.
Now to Texas, where Governor Greg Abbott has declared a state of emergency for some parts of the state after a severe storm system slammed the state with heavy rains and deadly flooding. Now that system is moving east, putting millions of Americans under a flood watch. NBC News correspondent Blaine Alexander joins us now from Atlanta with the latest. Blaine, good morning.
Well, Joe, good morning to you. This is historic flooding that we saw in Texas. In some places, they saw more rain over a 48-hour period than they typically see through an entire summer. And some residents told me that the water rose so fast, they had very little warning.
It's being called a once-in-a-thousand-year flood, and this morning parts of Texas are trying to recover after heavy rains left homes, cars, and roads underwater.
This was the first time in 90 years that we've had this much rain in a 24-hour period.
In some places, the rainfall was fast and furious, as much as 15 inches an hour in parts of the state with little warning. Brittany Kyle and her 2 children barely escaped their car.
At that point, I knew I needed to evacuate the car in order for us to make it and not become, casualties.
But a tragic ending in Mesquite, Texas, where one woman was killed. Her car swept off the road. More than 100 homes damaged, including Valerie Villa's. Her son's bedroom is now scattered throughout this trailer.
Just saw things floating down the street. There was a mini fridge, there was trash cans, there was all sorts of stuff. There was logs, there was tree branches, everything you can imagine was just floating down.
All things from people's houses?
Yes, all things from people's houses. We found stuff that it's not even ours.
We got hit pretty hard, and we got hit in a historic way. The sky opened up, and soon after, our streets closed down. The storm was immense.
Texas Governor Greg Abbott has declared a state of emergency. It is a sharp about face after a summer of extreme heat brought drought conditions across much of Texas. And now the storm is blowing through the Gulf, toppling trees and bringing down nearly 7 inches of rain across parts of Louisiana and Mississippi.
And Joe, you heard that the storm has moved out of Texas, now moving toward the Gulf and into the Gulf. This morning, 5 million people remain under flood watch. Joe.
All right, Blaine Alexander, thank you so much. Let's get a check on where that storm system is this morning. Meteorologist Michelle Grossman is here with the latest. Hey, Michelle, good morning.
Hey there, Joe. Yeah, unfortunately, it's not going very far. It's moving very, very slowly, and it happens so fast, the flash flooding. So that's what we're watching for once again today. This is what it looks like today. You see the stationary boundary? It's nearly stationary. It's moving just a bit, but not enough to get out of here. So we're looking at showers and storms. We're looking at really heavy rainfall, torrential downpours as we go throughout the day, not only today, but also tomorrow into Friday. And we're also looking at strong storms in the northern part of the nation, the upper Midwest. So we're going to watch that very closely. Another spot where we could see flash flooding, that would be in the southwest, seeing some monsoon rain. And warming up in the northeast, that's going to be a big story with temperatures back into the 90s as we go throughout tomorrow and then the next few days. As we look towards tomorrow, once again, rain continuing in the southeast. That's the part where we just wanted to move out of here, but it's just so slow moving, and we're going to see rain being dumped in the area. We could see up to 5-6 inches in some spots. A flood threat once again in the southwest, and we're looking at a hot northeast as we go throughout the weekend as well. So looking towards the weekend, it's never too early. We're looking at warm sunshine in the upper Midwest. We're going to dry it out over the weekend there, at least Friday. And then we look at the southwest, still some rain. We're looking at some rain into the southeast as well, and then rain returns into New England on Friday. As we look towards Saturday, most of us dry. Plenty of sunshine in the northwest. Nice day throughout the Great Lakes, also the upper Midwest, but still some summer storms in the southeast. That's already on top of really soggy ground. So we're going to see the potential for more flooding. And then Sunday, you guessed it, more storms in the southeast. So we have storms stretching from the Great Lakes all the way through the middle of the country, the Central Plains, into portions of the southeast, and the warm Rockies. We're going to see temperatures still in the 80s and 90s. So let's look at today in terms of our flash flood risk, because we still do have a risk for flash flooding today. We have a moderate risk. That's where you see the pink here. So Monroe to Alexandria into Jackson. Again, we don't see a moderate risk that often, but we have seen it the past 4 or 5 days. But it is still very rare to see that. Still could see some flooding through portions of eastern Texas into Louisiana, Arkansas, also portions of Mississippi into Alabama. So a flash flooding we do have a flash flood watch. 4 million people impacted where you see this green here through portions of eastern Texas all the way into the lower Mississippi Valley. We also have some red. That's your flash flood warning. That means flooding is happening right now. So we're going to be continuing to watch that throughout the day. Here's a look at radar overlapping here. You can see some heavy rains, yellows, reds, oranges, seeing some lightning, hearing that thunder. And that's what we're going to continue to see over the next few days. Again, generally 1 to 4 inches possible, but we could see up to 6 inches. That's where you see the darkest colors. We think the best bet for that would be portions of Mississippi and also Louisiana. Then it's the heat. We have a few major stories here. 4 million impacted in the Northwest, the Pacific Northwest, into interior parts of California, Bellingham down to Seattle. Also in Olympia, we're looking at some really hot temperatures. Temperatures into the 90s. Also the triple digits once again. Fresno 105, 103 in Redding. Portland, you're looking at 94 degrees. That's 15 degrees above what is typical for this time of year. And then Joe will end it here because we're going to start to heat it up once again in the Northeast. Temperatures into the 90s by tomorrow.
We had a little reprieve. Just a
tiny
nice. One. Yeah, all right.
We
enjoyed it. All right. Thanks, Michelle. Appreciate it. Coming up and Morning News Now, a defiant day in Ukraine. It has now been 6 months since Russia's war began. It's also Ukrainian Independence Day, how the country is marking the occasion as Russia steps up attacks. This morning, Ukrainians are marking 31 years of independence. This is also the same day that the war with Russia reaches the 6-month milestone. Tensions are high amid the warnings of potential attacks, with parties and parades canceled in the capital, Kyiv. NBC News foreign correspondent Megan Fitzgerald joins us now with the latest from Bucha, Ukraine. Megan, good morning.
Joe, good morning to you. The country saw unrelenting shelling in the east in Kharkiv, which is Ukraine's second largest city. The target was residential buildings. We know at least 5 people have been injured as this bloody war grinds on.
This morning, Ukraine is on high alert, marking its Independence Day as its current fight for freedom continues. President Zelensky releasing this video overnight, saying his country was reborn the day Russia invaded. That day was exactly 6 months ago, when tanks and artillery first started rolling into Ukraine. Airstrikes shaking the country and its people to their core. Russian troops surrounded the capital city, occupying towns like Bucha, shelling buildings, slaughtering hundreds of civilians. Dozens buried in this cemetery have still not been identified.
Putin wants Ukraine without Ukrainians. That's why it's genocide what happens in Bucha and in other cities.
As the war rages on, Ukraine sending a message to Moscow.
This parade of burned out Russian military vehicles is widely seen as an act of defiance. Many Ukrainians say this is a jab at Putin for his failed attempt to take over the capital city of Kyiv.
Russians wanted to have their parade on the main street of Kyiv. They got it.
In the east and south, Russia has seized part of the Donbas region and territory around the Black Sea. But military experts say Russia's advances have slowed, its artillery supplies running low. In Russian-controlled Mariupol, fears of a show trial for Ukrainian prisoners of war, potentially breaking international law, giving them immunity. This video shows cages built inside a concert hall that Russian state media says will soon be used as a courtroom, a move Ukraine's president said would end all negotiations. And more help could be on the way from the U.S. The Biden administration is looking to send $3 billion worth of weapons and equipment to Ukraine, according to 2 defense officials. Help that can't come soon enough for Ukrainians.
What do you make of the fact that this Independence Day, you're still fighting for independence?
This is definitely a fight for history. This is definitely a fight to reapprove that we have a right to exist.
Ukrainian officials believe that the horrific war crimes and atrocities that we saw here in Bucha are much worse in cities like Mariupol. The mayor of Kyiv says tens of thousands of Ukrainians have been killed, but Russians still occupy that area, so there's no way of knowing exactly the devastation. Guys, back to you.
All right, Megan, thank you so much. Let's get more on the situation in Ukraine with Maria Odiva. She is a research director at the European Expert Association and is currently in Kyiv. Maria, thanks so much for joining us. First of all, just tell us, what is the atmosphere like in Kyiv today on this Independence Day? We mentioned no parties, no parades, but are people still finding some way to mark the occasion?
People have received numerous messages from the government officials, not only in Kyiv, but throughout Ukraine, that there might be some severe attacks on Ukrainian cities. And here in Kyiv, since the early morning, we have heard at least 4 times the air sirens, and people are advised strictly to go and find shelters when they hear these sounds, because President Zelensky has said that Russia might use this occasion to commit something really severe and awful. And of course, this does not allow people to mark the Independence Day as they would normally, go with the children, wear the Ukrainian national embroidery short vyshyvanka, and normally there will be thousands of people in the streets of Kyiv. Now it is half empty because people tend to stay inside and take cover, because there they feel more safe. And we know that in this morning in Poltava region, there was 5 hits by the Russian missiles fired from the Caspian Sea, and near Kyiv region in Chernihiv, there also in Cherkasy, sorry, there also was a missile shut down by a Ukrainian air defense. And this means that the feeling is that the Russia continues this rocket terror against Ukrainian population, so that people will be terrified.
It's also, as we mentioned, 6 months since the war began today. What's your assessment of where things are at right now? And do you get a feeling how much longer you think the conflict is going to last?
Of course, we know that Putin was not able to get any goals he had stated in the beginning of the invasion. He said that he will get Kyiv in 3 days. Now, burned out Russian military vehicles are here on the exhibition, and people make selfies in front of these destroyed Russian tanks. But for this period, we all know that Ukrainians are now having more experience than any other European military in combating the Russian army. And we have a way long to go ahead. because this war will not be over soon, and Ukrainians are preparing for winter, which will be tough for us, because this will mean that the stalemate will continue, and the artillery duels, and the situation is difficult on the South Front and in Donbass. And when we hear that there is stalemate, it means that Ukrainian army every day is fighting so not to let the Russian army go further into Ukrainian territory, and with the support of Western weapons to continue do a counteroffensive where it is possible.
All right. Maria Odiva, thank you so much for joining us. We appreciate your time this morning.
Thank you.
More international news now, and a Chinese province is banning the sale of gasoline and diesel-powered cars. NBC's Claudio Lavanga joins us from Rome with this and other world news. Hey, Claudio, good morning.
Good morning, guys. Yes, the island of Hainan in the South China Sea say they will ban entirely gasoline and diesel-powered cars by 2030. If they manage to do that, they may well become the first region in China to achieve zero emissions. Now, they said that they will introduce tax breaks to push the sale of electric cars on the island in an attempt to curb carbon emissions there. Let's move to the underwater channel between the UK and France, where dozens of passengers were left stranded after a train broke down. Tens of people were evacuated through an emergency service tunnel, an experience that some of them called terrifying. They were eventually transferred overground to the UK terminal with a replacement train. And finally, look at this CCTV footage of a bull breaking into a bank in Israel. It shows employees chasing the bull around with not much luck. But the look of it, they definitely didn't take the bull by the horns. Some say that the bull went to the bank because some told him it's a bit of a cash cow.
Right,
sorry,
Claudio.
I couldn't resist.
You couldn't resist. And those are some brave employees, by the way, chasing down the bull in the hallway. Thank you, Claudio. Appreciate it. Coming up, remembering one of the worst hurricanes to hit the U.S. 30 years ago today, Hurricane Andrew made landfall in South Florida, devastating communities and killing dozens of people. We're going to take you to that community and talk to you about what was hit hardest and the lessons learned decades later. We're back with a somber anniversary in South Florida. 30 years ago today, Hurricane Andrew devastated the region, killing dozens of people and leaving thousands of people homeless. The rare Category 5 hurricane is still one of the strongest and most devastating storms to date. Our senior national correspondent, Kerry Sanders, was there covering Hurricane Andrew for us 30 years ago. He joins us live from Homestead, Florida this morning with a look back at the lessons learned. Kerry, good morning.
Well, good morning, Joe. Look, after the hurricane, everybody said it looked like a war zone. To emphasize that point, I'm here at Homestead Air Reserve Base on the flight line. You see the F-16s behind me. It is such a contrast to what it looked like back in 1992. This is what the base looked like then. It was devastated. F-16s, as you can see right here, were flipped. And the damage was not just here to the base. It went on for mile after mile after mile. It was a catastrophe unlike anybody had ever seen before.
The city of Homestead, Florida is today rebuilt. 3 decades ago, no one thought Homestead would recover. Hurricane Andrew, with wind gusts that broke one official gauge at 212 miles per hour. Across South Florida, Andrew destroyed 65,000 homes, left 175,000 people homeless.
I remember getting scared. I remember seeing the panic in my mother and my aunt's eyes.
Barbara Lola Cesar was 5 years old, protecting herself under a mattress at Ground Zero in Homestead.
And then the ceiling collapsed. It collapsed where we thought my baby cousin was going to be the safest.
Her cousin survived, but the National Hurricane Center says 15 people were directly killed by the hurricane. I was reporting inside a car for WTVJ and NBC News.
I've got myself in this position in case some debris were to fly through.
The amount of energy released in hurricanes is comparable to, literally thousands of nuclear devices being released every minute.
Initially, few knew how bad the damage was.
Are those mobile homes?
But once we could fly in choppers, the picture of devastation became clear.
And there must have been about, let's say, counting and trying to estimate at least 300 to 400 mobile homes here.
The rest are just completely gone.
Also in the path, Zoo Miami. Among the iconic pictures, flamingos herded into the bathroom for protection.
Are any of these survivors of Hurricane Andrew?
Actually, 8 of them.
8?
8 of them, because flamingos can live to be 50.
At the time, few believed the zoo would ever return.
Will the zoo reopen and
But
when?
then, an interview here on Today changed that.
When we saw the outcry from the public after that Today Show interview, guys, this is our home.
The tiger exhibit, named after 12-year-old Naomi Browning, a zoo volunteer who told her mother before she was killed by flying debris, "Mom, I'm worried about the animals." Today, Zoo Miami has 3,000 animals, 500 species.
What overwhelms me really is the generosity, the compassion, and the determination to get back to be better than we ever were.
So you see resilience, not sadness.
Absolutely.
Could it happen again? Well, understand that Hurricane Andrew is one of only 5 Category 5s ever to hit the United States. And the experts say with the warming oceans, which that warm water is what fuels the power of a hurricane, it's not a matter of if, but when. But, Joe, one of the improvements that we've seen since 1992 is the technology in forecasting hurricanes. There was a time back then where they could say, we believe 3 days out, the hurricane will probably hit somewhere along this 300-mile area of the coast. Now, because of new satellites and supercomputers, they've been able to narrow it down 3 days out to say, we believe the hurricane is coming into a 100-mile area. A vast improvement. The one thing that the experts tell me is they're not sure we'll ever have the technology to kill a hurricane, to just stop it dead in its tracks. Joe?
Carrie, an important look back. Thank you so much. Now to some fresh concerns coming to light about the cancer risks that firefighters face every day while on the job. This morning, the nation's largest firefighters union is issuing a new warning about how the gear they wear for protection may also be riddled with dangerous chemicals. Here's NBC News correspondent Tom Costello.
With cancer deaths among firefighters skyrocketing, the country's biggest firefighters union and city fire chiefs are issuing a joint warning. The turnout or bunker gear that firefighters wear to protect themselves from fire, smoke, and soot may itself be preloaded with cancer-causing chemicals.
Every day we put on our personal protective equipment, we're exposing ourselves, our bodies, to toxins that ultimately could result in our deaths.
The union and chiefs cite several studies showing their gear is manufactured with so-called PFAS, forever chemicals linked to multiple cancers. Now they're advising firefighters nationwide to only wear bunker gear when it's absolutely necessary. Don't take it into the fire station living quarters or home. Spray down personnel after every fire and replace with PFAS-free gear when available.
It's an unnecessary risk and an unnecessary toxin that has to be removed because there are plenty of other toxins that we can't control in the fire service.
But there are few alternatives. Bunker gear is heavy. There are 3 layers, but the union believes the research shows all 3 layers may have those carcinogenic chemicals. Montgomery County, Maryland Operations Chief Charles Bailey says the inner lining is the most concerning.
There's evidence that these chemicals leach out of the liner through the skin and into the bodies of the firefighters.
The CDC reports firefighters are 9% more likely to contract cancer, 14% more likely to die than the general public. But one bunker gear maker, 3M, is pushing back, telling NBC News researchers acknowledge the limited nature of evidence indicating that PFAS cause harmful effects. As firefighters nationwide continue answering the call. Tom Costello, NBC News, Gaithersburg, Maryland.
Coming up, from hiring incentives to bringing veterans into the classroom, states are trying to find ways to ease the teacher shortage. But what about a 4-day school week? We're going to take you to one school district that's trying it out, and we'll show you what it means for teachers and for students. Plus, finding fashion deals where you get your groceries, what's pushing more people to turn to Costco for designer deals. That's next. As schools across the country contend with a teacher shortage, some districts are hoping less time in the classroom may convince some teachers to stick around. NBC News correspondent Priscilla Thompson explains.
I'm in
kindergarten. It's back to school for students in DeKalb, Texas.
Smile, baby.
But this year, they'll be spending only 4 days a week here instead of 5. The goal, to attract and retain teachers.
So you all are starting the year with no vacancies.
We actually filled all our positions before June, which is rare for us.
And challenging. Nationwide, there are 280,000 fewer public school teachers this year than before the pandemic. To attract educators, small rural districts across the country are shifting to a 4-day school week to compete with larger school systems that can often afford to pay teachers more.
So this is a chart.
Veteran teacher Laura Hunt was considering a new career until she heard about the shorter week.
I remember being a teacher and spending my Sundays lesson planning and grading papers, and it's more than just the school week. What will this change mean for your life?
I feel like it's buying me some of that family time back that used to be consumed with school tasks.
While students who attend school 4 days a week are still learning, research shows they don't grow as much as those in school 5 days a week. A recent study found students with 4-day weeks spent an average of 58 fewer hours in school every year. Hours that experts say add up and can be detrimental over time.
Is that a concern, especially given the learning loss from the pandemic?
That's a big concern, but there's going to be a greater opportunity for families to do extracurricular things like going to museums or doing crafts.
Here in DeKalb, the district is making up for the lost time by adding an hour to every school day. It's also giving up 13 days previously built in for possible COVID shutdowns and bad weather. On Fridays, a church is offering low-cost childcare.
What do you think of that?
I think it's exciting for them because we get more time together as a family.
Are you worried at all that she'll be learning less since she's only in school 4 days instead of 5?
A little bit.
I think it's kind of the way that you take it. I don't know. You learn a lot at home, too.
How will you know if this is working?
Student achievement is important to us, but if we see a decrease in discipline, we see a decrease in attendance issues, I think that will be a huge indicator for us as well.
Raise your hand.
Putting a new school model to the test and hoping for high marks. Priscilla Thompson, NBC News, DeKalb, Texas.
Turning now to financial headlines, and home sales are now plunging to their lowest level since 2016. CNBC's Frank Holland joins us with that and other money headlines. Frank, good morning.
Hey, good morning to you. We begin with Toll Brothers, the nation's largest luxury home builder, is cutting its sales forecast after reporting a big drop in orders last quarter. The company says that rising mortgage rates, also economic insecurity by a lot of people, is creating lower sales overall. The company says, in general, people are just less confident about buying homes. They're also having a hard time finding other homes because home sales are slowing. Toll Brothers is known as a luxury home builder, generally catering to an audience of people who are so-called move-up buyers who are looking for homes that are $1 million or more. Sales of Toll Brothers down this morning. We're also waiting for some housing data coming out later today. Also, 70% of people are actually bracing for a recession here in the United States. A lot of people are concerned. They're changing their personal spending and taking other steps to prepare themselves for a possible recession. About half of people think that inflation will actually get worse later on this year or possibly even next year. Also, some social media news. We talk a lot about TikTok. Well, TikTok's rolling out a new feature. That new feature is designed to let you know where videos and other things are happening nearby you and also let you know where events are. Instagram's also rolled out something very similar to let you know where events and things are taking place in your nearby area. Back over to you.
That might lead to like some community dance parties or something like that. Frank, thanks so much. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
After years of improving paid parental leave, companies are suddenly slashing the time off, and that's causing some employees to rethink their careers and their family plans. Here's NBC News Now anchor Hallie Jackson.
Devin Ritchie dreams about becoming a father.
I've always wanted to be a dad, but as things are right now, I don't think that's going to happen anytime soon.
He's a Texas-based customer service rep with Hulu, a streaming service owned by the Walt Disney Company. He tells NBC Hulu recently cut its fully paid parental leave benefits from 20 weeks down to 8 weeks.
For a company like Disney to really pull back on something like 20 weeks is just kind of crazy.
Hulu declined to comment, but it comes as many companies are now cutting paid parental leave. 35% of employers now offer paid maternity leave beyond what's required by law, but that's down from 53% in 2020, according to a new survey by the Society for Human Resource Management. Paternity leave fell from 44% in 2020 to 27% in 2022 also.
I really was surprised at the result. It almost was a little counterintuitive. We're in the middle of a war for talent, and we know that employees value this benefit. So a lot of companies have said, we're going to hunker down. We're going to take some proactive steps to reduce our expense line so that we can successfully not only survive, but thrive on the other side of whatever economic recession were to take place.
Only 11 states and Washington, D.C. have laws that require most employers to offer some paid leave to new parents. The other 39 states do not. U.S. federal law lets qualifying workers take up to 12 weeks of unpaid leave after their child is born, but not getting paid is just not feasible for many employees.
I honestly don't want to be in a situation where I'm going to have to make a decision between, having a kid or being able to eat next week.
The amount of companies offering parental leave benefits over the past 15 years has mostly increased, with a drop during the 2008 and 2009 economic crisis. In fact, the SHRM study shows that compared to 2007, nearly twice as many companies surveyed offered paid maternity leave. But during the pandemic, that was almost tripled.
You have employees that have been in a very powerful position with lots of options in terms of their work, and their priorities have shifted. And then you have many employers who are now wanting to transition back toward pre-pandemic systems and costs and benefits. And there's going to be a tug of war that's going to shake out, and we're going to be watching that happen.
But for some workers who may be finding their leave cut back, finding a company with competitive leave benefits is top of mind.
Companies really need to start appreciating their workers more, because they're going to start losing a lot of hardworking people over things like this.
Our thanks to Hallie Jackson for that report. And here's another number from the SHRM survey worth noting. 82% of people say that leave benefits are very or extremely important to their job satisfaction. We all know Costco as a popular shopping destination for wholesale groceries and, of course, those cheap hot dogs. But now the retailer is part of a viral TikTok movement inspired by users looking for the hottest apparel and not for a lot of cash. NBC News correspondent Kristen Dahlgren joins me now with more on that. And Kristen, are you wearing Costco this morning?
Right? That's going to be the new question. It's not just who are you wearing, but how much did you save in buying that? You said at Costco, not just for those industrial-sized cereal boxes or 1,000 rolls of toilet paper. Now with this little card here, the hottest ticket in fashion.
Costco Couture.
This week's Best Costco Fashion Finds.
2 words you probably never imagined you'd hear together.
I just got these sweatshirts. They are the Fila brand at Costco for guess how much? $13.
TikTok influencers are going wild for the membership-only wholesale retailer.
Costco has these super cute Kenzie strap sandals.
It's Sherpa lined, so soft, and it's only $14.99.
The search term Costco clothing finds racking up more than 2 billion views, thanks to designer brands at some big discounts.
What's your biggest score ever?
Definitely the Hunter boots.
Usually found for $175, just $84.99 at Costco.
I live in Los Angeles. It does not rain here. We are in the desert, and they sell out like crazy.
Jennifer Maldonado has more than 19,000 followers for her TikTok Costco Couture.
Right before we got on this conversation, I was on Costco, the app, and I found a Givenchy, another Givenchy bag, and a Valentino bag.
I don't remember anything like this on my last Costco run. What am I doing wrong?
You just have to take the time and look. I'll go to 2 Costcos a week. Now, sometimes I'll leave empty-handed. So it's just a matter of, day and time and what they have in stock.
Jennifer also recommends touching the fabric, seams, and zippers. Costco is staying tight-lipped about pricing and quality, but experts say be realistic.
A lot of the merchandise that you do get at these stores is kind of at an outlet level kind of selection.
You're not on Rodeo Drive buying them off. You've got to be realistic. We're at Costco.
It's not just Costco getting into the discount designer game.
I think we've been sleeping on Walmart fashion.
Influencer posts about Walmart, Target, and Amazon clothing are also easy to find.
Discount fashion used to be the butt of jokes. What's going on?
There's definitely affordability, there's convenience, and I think this is a little surprising, but hype. Thanks to social media.
This year, the hottest look may be money in your pockets.
Oh, there's nothing better than finding a good deal, buying it, wearing it, and then getting a compliment from it. And who doesn't want a $1.50 hot dog after a long day of shopping?
That sounds very good to me. So, Kristen, I haven't been to a Costco in a couple of years. I didn't even realize they sold some of those luxury brands. How rare are those kinds of finds?
Right. And so those are not going to be, at every Costco. Jennifer found them online on the app. She says she sees those occasionally, but really your better bet is sort of those mid-range brands. And here's another really good tip that she had, because I've never seen anything like that at Costco either. She said, if you see something on TikTok that you like, but you're not seeing in your local Costco store, they have great customer service. She said you can call them, and there's a chance that they might be able to ship it to you, Joe.
All right, some good advice there, Kristen. Thank you so much. Appreciate it. For the first time, a Disney show has a queer non-binary lead actor. Coming up, my conversation with Terry Hu on how they're hoping their role in Hollywood will flip the script and help the next generation. This summer's extreme heat has uncovered an archaeological surprise. 113-million-year-old dinosaur tracks are now exposed after a riverbed in central Texas ran dry. Check this out. The 100-foot-long trail was left behind by, and bear with me, we hear, an Acrocanthosaurus. I think I got that right. These three-toed dinosaurs were about 15 feet tall and weighed around 7 tons. The last time these tracks were seen, it was more than 20 years ago in the year 2000. They had since been covered by water and sediment, but with the record-breaking heat and dry conditions, we do get to see them one more time. All right, now to our series, Flipping the Script, featuring artists in the entertainment industry working to shine a spotlight on diversity. Enter actor Terry Hu. At just 26 years old, Hu is already making a name for themselves as the first ever non-binary actor to have a leading role in a live-action Disney movie. Hu plays Aspen, a blue-haired alien in the film Zombies 3. They're also on Netflix playing the character of Addison, a non-binary private school student in season 3 of the teen comedy series Never Have I Ever, who is also an advocate for the LGBTQ community, AAPI community, and an outspoken supporter of people suffering from mental health. I talked to them about their history-making roles and the changing landscape of the entertainment world. You're in the hit Netflix show Never Have I Ever. You're in the Disney movie Zombies 3.
We need to find their most precious thing.
And in both, you do play a non-binary character. Help us understand, how significant is that and how much does that mean to you?
So when I booked Zombies 3, they were like, yeah, we can make Aspen, my character's name, non-binary. And I was like, oh, that's awesome. And on a personal level, I was just like, this is my first feature. This is so cool. I don't think I was thinking like, I'm here to make history. I don't think that's a sustainable sort of thought process to have. But I obviously was very, very grateful, and I could recognize the importance of what they were doing.
I'm going to disengage our emotional suppressors. Personally, I'm excited to see what emotions feel like.
That being said, it wasn't until fans started reaching out when my casting got announced, and they were like, this means so much to me. I didn't know what non-binary was when I was growing up. So it was really, really cool to see these kids and, the younger generation know all these things. And that's what made it really meaningful to me. I'm just really happy to be a part of anyone's journey towards their authenticity is a really huge honor, I think.
How are you flipping the script?
My character is queer and non-binary, and they use they them pronouns, and as do I. And I think this is just something that anyone who grew up watching Disney, myself included, could not have fathomed. It's a very normalized thing. The movie doesn't make it a huge part. It's just very normalized. The character just is non-binary and queer, and I think that is a huge script flip.
Let's talk about growing up. When I was younger, there wasn't much for me to see on TV or in movies. That has changed with time. What was your experience like growing up?
I didn't see a lot of examples. I can't think of like queer or non-binary at all, but it was, for me growing up, it was mainly about Asian representation even, because I was just thinking like, could I even audition as like an Asian person? Like, are there any roles for me? So I think there were two different sides, yeah.
Things have changed a lot, haven't they?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And obviously like there's so much work to be done and like still a long way to go, but yeah, I feel it too. And like even in the past 10 years, I think there are things I'm doing and things I'm part of that I could not have fathomed from 10 years ago.
When you were growing up, you did some acting. And then when you went to college, what is it you studied?
I majored in neuroscience.
Does not like acting at all.
No, I'm not using that at all. So now I'm like an actor stereotype. But no, I was going to go to physical therapy school. And so I got into schools after graduating and everything. I decided to pursue acting, and the rest is history.
And maybe someday it'll come in handy, right?
Yeah, honestly, I hope so. Neurosurgeon, Grey's Anatomy, cast me.
For those who are watching you right now, and whether they are a young aspiring Asian actor or queer non-binary, what's the biggest advice you can give them if they say, I'm looking right now at you and I want to be just like you?
I think firstly, know that it's possible. I think that was something when I was younger, I wish I had seen more, like hopefully me just existing on screen, whether you even like my character or not, just visually seeing me, it's like you're possible, like it is possible. But also just to give yourself like grace through the process, and that like truly everyone's journey is so different. Listen to yourself and give yourself that grace on this journey, because it's kind of wild.
Our thanks to Terry Hu for taking time to talk with us. As for their other projects, Terry says you can also catch them in the short film Americanized, out now on Vimeo after 2 years in the festival circuit. That does it for this hour of Morning News Now. The news continues right now.
Thanks for watching our YouTube channel. Follow today's top stories and breaking news by downloading the NBC News app.